Hello and welcome to a brand new episode, a brand new week, Monday morning. Let's do this. Lots of businesses here in the UK are opening up today and it feels a bit weird. I can't decide whether I'm that woman who is going to be lying outside a shopping centre waiting for it to open, or I may never ever shop again. It's a really odd situation to be in. So I think with everything, I will go slowly but surely and just get back to the old normal, the new normal. I don't know where we are anymore. But if you're a small business and your business is opening back up today, I just wish you so much luck, and I'm thinking about you. And I'm hoping it all goes smoothly for you. Okay, on to today, which is part 3 of this website series. And this is a question that has come up in terms of redesigning my website, but also in terms of my own business. And the more I do this, the more the years go by where I'm still doing this. So I've been doing this kind of combination for about nearly 10 years now. But obviously I was an actor before and a strategist as an agent before. So I've been in this game, so many years, all the years. And I really found this familiar trait coming up again and again. And you can call it a trait or a limiting belief or a recurring habit. But I didn't necessarily believe that things were or could be easy. I definitely had that mentality that I had to strive, that it had to be blood, sweat and tears, that I had to work hard. And maybe that started when I started my dance training. So I began dancing when I was about 4 years old. And that was such a, sending your kid, well, not I wanted to go, but my mum and dad facilitated it. Dancing and being in a leotard and body image and all the rest of it, that's a completely different story. But in terms of a discipline of training 3-4 times a week and showing technique and stamina and progression and all of those things required work as a kid. And I'm not, if you've seen me in real life, I'm 5'2". I'm a small person, so I'm not like one of those leggy, legs up to their armpits type situation. But I wanted it. I had the appetite for that. So I would work really hard, and I knew I had to work my legs. I knew that I wasn't naturally supple, as it were. So I worked at it. So I was, on par with the rest of the girls and boys. I say boys plural. I think there was just one, a token boy. But he was excellent as well. Anyway, so this hard work, working really hard, going above and beyond, has become a familiar trait in my life. And actually, in my dancing school, I was awarded the hardest worker in a school of about 300 kids 2 years in a row, which again, it just makes me feel not a bit sad, but just have so much empathy for that little girl, that version of me where I was just like, wow, she's really grafting. She's really going for it. And I just kind of wanted to give her a big hug as well and just saying, it's all going to be all right. You'll find a way to do it. And hours don't necessarily equate to the end result. And I've certainly found that in my business, as I've been reflecting, because my tax year starts in April. So I've been reflecting on the last year and really looking at where I've been just kind of pulling my business apart, really. And I never sort of did that. I was always on to the next thing, like what are the next goals? Where do I want to go? And actually going back to this sense of ease and flow, I've realized that I need to take as much time to reflect, to consider, to analyze, to assess what's going on as I do to set the goals. Because otherwise, well, firstly, by assessing and noticing what's been going on, I'm getting really precious data. I'm really being able to notice what is going on. Okay, that worked. Oh, that was great. Oh, yes, that was a really good move that I made there because it led to this, this, and this. Or equally, there's sometimes when you reflect and you're like, ouch, oof. No, I mean, good job, Raby, but it was totally, why did you go that way when you should have trusted your instincts and done this, this, and this? And I think sometimes we can be afraid to look back and to assess and see what's going on because somehow it feels shaming that we're going to bring up our own mistakes, that we're going to see them. And that's not as fun. That's not as fun going through those moments of going, oh, coulda, woulda, shoulda, not really sure about that. But what if you allowed yourself to really celebrate the things that have gone really well? So I've noticed that in my own business that I have to spend and allocate the time to reflect, to notice what's going on. Because as I've noticed and I've become really familiar with the patterns or what happens in my marketing or what makes people buy or how long people are in my world, and I'm not necessarily looking at those trends, those numbers as, my customer is between 30 and 50 and they I'm not looking at it in those demographics. I'm looking at it often from that human experience. Like, where were they in their business when they knew it was time for my help? Or what were they looking for? Or what had they tried before? Or what are the questions, the queries, the solutions that people are looking for time and time again? So becoming really familiar with that has allowed me and eased me into working less than I have ever done before. I still, I don't have a business where I'm like, I just do a couple of hours a week and the rest, I'm just on a sun lounger. Like, no, I still work. I still work most days, actually. And that doesn't necessarily mean sitting at my desk, but I'm thinking about my business 7 days a week. And sometimes that's me taking something that I'm planning or curating or creating on a run with me. Yesterday, my friend and I, Jess, we went to the Heath and we always try and run. And I'm really impressed with myself, actually, that I'm actually at a point where I can run for a sustained amount of time and actually have a conversation. I never thought that was possible, but that's great. And also that's the power of somebody keeping your pace with you, because I'm sure there'd be loads of times where I'm like, oh, I'm too tired, I need to stop, I can't do any more. But actually running with somebody has really helped and eased that process. And also we love to talk about, life and what our hopes and dreams are, but we also talk about business. And she's a really wonderful person who is able to bring out the best in me and challenge me and pull different thoughts and perspectives and angles out for me. But also she's always doing it with kindness because she's one of my best pals. And it's so valuable. But I have noticed over the last year, I've worked less than ever before and I've earned more than ever before. And this version, I guess, of my business is setting, it's really hard to explain it. It's setting a new level of what I want to do. So I'm not getting to a point where I'm like, I'm just going to ease off for a bit and then I'm going to build up again to where I really burn out and I work 100 hours a week. Like, I want this to be the new normal. I want this to be the normal where I have leisure time, where I have time with my kids, where I make income whilst I'm asleep. I want this to be the new normal so I actually can do more. There's things that I want to build. There's a charity that I want to build. There's I want to have my own production company one. I'm just throwing these out into the universe. Can you notice? I want to have my own production company one day. I want to write another book. I want to travel a lot more. I really don't feel like I've seen very much of the world. I want to build a house, maybe not build a house, but I want to renovate. I want to, create a an amazing, brilliant, beautiful next home for us. And all of that requires my time, but it also requires that sense that the rest of my life and my business has to be easy. So this is the word that I'm coming back to, especially as I'm plotting this redesign of my website. And here is where you might want to grab your piece of paper and a pen and see what comes up for you. And believe me, when I did this exercise, all of the things came up for me. But again, we're doing it with kindness. We're doing it by bringing it to the surface like, oh, okay, oh, that's what it is. So we're not shaming ourselves of saying like, I should have done this better. Why haven't I figured this out yet? It's all good. Okay, here's the checklist. Is what you do easy to understand? What is the transformation? What is the process that you support people with? Or what are the services or the products that you sell? What are you providing here? So imagine you're taking somebody from A to B, or A to Z rather. What does that process look like? And if you don't know, and if you don't know who that person is, then I would encourage you to spend some time sitting with that and playing with those ideas and really assessing what is going on. Because if you have all kinds of different people needing different things from you, it's going to end up being a lot of noise. And quite often you can see this in airports or in train stations where suddenly, you know, when you suddenly see that notice board go up and there's an announcement, and suddenly I've spent so many times in King's Cross station when I've been trying to get back up north. And suddenly the notice board goes up like no more trains going to or all trains for Doncaster. Everybody going to Doncaster, they need to get on a train that does this, this, and this. And suddenly there's a bit of unease. Suddenly there's an atmosphere. Suddenly people start to stand up and pace, or they get on their phones, or they run to the ticket office. And there's all different types of situation where people go, actually, I need to get on this because I need to get my flight at Manchester, or I've got 2 kids, or I'm going to miss my connection, or I'm feeling quite anxious talking about this stuff. But people have different things. And for that, station worker to go, right, okay, yes sir, yes ma'am, what's the problem that you've got? And you can see the stress on their face going, oh gosh, there's so many different things. You don't want to feel like that as a business owner. You want to be able to stand proud and grounded in your position of almost saying, I'm going to be the person who deals with all the people who are worried about their connection, and let's see if we can find the quickest way. All come here and I will give you an alternative route. You want to see that person. You want to see that person with the train line who knows those connections and those train timetables like the back of their hand. So when you're thinking about, is your business really easy to understand? If you don't understand it, or if you're finding like when you say it out loud, it's a bit clunky, or you're sort of going, well, I sort of do this, and this person could be this, it could be this, it could be this. If your answer is really long to this question, it might need a bit of time and attention to work through. Secondly, is it easy to book you? Is it easy to pay you? Because ultimately that's what we are. We're in business, right? And if you don't have money coming into your business, it's probably an expensive hobby. And this payment situation is really long if you allow it to be. And I've realized that I actually don't want to spend my time chasing or waiting for invoices. So my payment policy is really clear from now on. And I've noticed this in terms of speaking, making my terms and conditions really, really simple. And often with speaking, I have 50% upfront. And for me, that makes me feel easy, that word again, in the process, because it allows me to go, okay, this is actually happening. This is a thing. They are invested in this. So am I. I can fully prep. I can block out time in my diary to prep for this, and it's all going to be groovy. So when you're thinking about easy to book and easy to pay, think about how you can streamline this. And I've again had to go through this process, and I've only really recently done this. I mean, for goodness sake, what am I thinking? But it's all a process. I'm not shaming myself for it, but I'm noticing where my own gaps are. So what is the process? Are you spending a lot of time going back and forward in emails where people are like, I don't know what package I want, it's this, it's that? If you're opening up that conversation and allowing that time spent talking about packages, talking about back and forth, I'll pay tonight, or I'll let you know tomorrow. That is all a lot of headspace that has been taking up, and it's taking you away from your actual business, from the things that you want to do. So I would love to question for you to question your payment system. Is it working for you? Is it easy for people to book? Is there a clear call to action? How do they actually do what you want them to do? Number 3, is it easy to say yes? Is it easy to say yes? There will always be something or someone that needs your income, your payment, to be a priority. So what is going to make your customer go, oh my gosh, I need this. And I love it when I get those messages in my inbox where people are like, Nikki, I'm so excited, I need to do this, I listen to the podcast, and they've got that energy. And I can hear it, I can feel it in the message. I'm ready to do this, let's go, how exciting, this is the thing that I want to start on, and they've got that energy behind it. Because on the flip side, it's so easy to say no. It's so easy to fall into those patterns of like, I don't really have time, oh, this is more money than I've ever spent, or I don't know I don't know, and be in that uncertain place. So are you making it a irresistible offer? Are you really showing the value of what you do, the transformation, and how you can help people get to the priority? Are you making it simple, number 4, for other people to talk about your work? And this can come from are you being really exceptional in what you do? Because for most, I don't know, I should have a stat on this, but often I am recommended and it's word of mouth. That's my marketing. So I don't really do any paid marketing. It all comes from either somebody seeing me speak or seeing me being interviewed or the podcast or a word of mouth or me showing up on social media. And some of those people who are watching my stuff are maybe employed. They have no desire to grow a personal brand. But those people could be recommending my work. A lot of my best pals in the world are in corporate, and they, I've always been that kind of funny, creative one on the side. But they do recommend me. They recommend me to their pals. They recommend me to their network, because what they do is they understand what I do, and I make it easy for them to talk about my work. So what I do sometimes is I put together a lovely deck. And it could just be a 2 or 3 page PDF. Sorry, you can hear my kids being wild in the background. Luna's found a voice and suddenly she's like, rah! I'm like, oh gosh, I feel like I might have to fireman's lift her out from somewhere. But anyway, so I send, if I've got a new offering, I send that 3-page PDF maybe to my friends and family and say, look, I've just launched this. If you know of anybody, and then of course, next time I see them, I can buy the lunch, I can buy the bottle of wine, whatever it might be, and I can reward them in that way. Does your customer or your viewer, your observer, know what to do next? Is it really clear? So often, we as humans need that safety. We need that ushering. We need that sense where somebody is going to sort of take our hand and go, it's this way. Come on, let's go and sit on a chair and have a snack. We see it on the motorway all the time, don't we? Where suddenly the traffic starts to slow down And everybody gets into that, oh gosh, oh, here we go. How long are we going to be stuck here? Oh, we're in roadworks. Oh no. And you can feel those kind of panicking. And already I watch people's body language as you sort of pass people, and everybody starts to get a bit twitchy, and, you know, they do that kind of where they have their hands on the back of their head, like, oh no, how long are we going to get stuck for? And there's a really fine line between that sense of people knowing what's coming. So sometimes you might see a sign like you're going to be stuck here for 20 minutes. Okay, great, fine. If you know that, then you can prepare for it. But if you don't know, if it's uncertain, very quickly people get distracted. They start thinking about other things and they move away, they check out. And I think that's really important in terms of your business. What do you want people to do next? Now, I'm not saying that if you say it, they're definitely going to do it, but at least you can be intentional in terms of your business. I've got two more. Are you making it easy for people to ask questions and move them from a place of indecision into a decision? What I mean by this is there will be some people that are on the fence, and they might be looking at your service or your program or your product where it's in that sense of like, yeah, I could buy it. I really like it. Yeah, but you know, if I don't buy it, the world's not going to end and I'll just get something else. How can you answer their questions so they move from a position of being indecisive to making a decision? And actually, sometimes those decisions are people going, I just know that this is great. And this is conversations that I've had with real life people, but now is not the right time because I am about to have a baby. And I go, great, go and have your baby. Go and have a lovely, labour. Go and enjoy the first months of your baby, and come back when you've got headspace, when you know that it's a better time for you. And that for me feels like a lovely position of integrity, because I'm never going to be like, well, I said that I would sell 10 spots this month and I've only sold 9 and this is the final one. So I've got to somehow pull this person into making a decision that they don't want. No, absolutely. But what I will do is I will sell the benefits of somebody making that decision. As in, I understand what will happen or what could happen from, and sometimes these are sort of bonus lovely surprises as well, from somebody working with me. So are you allowing that conversation to go on for so long, or that person to be in that state of dabbling and going, oh yeah, la 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 la? Are you supporting them to make that final decision? Finally, are you making it easy for your customer, for your client, for your viewer, for your audience to be passive? There is, I remember years ago, I had a pal who was a drummer, and he was a really great drummer. He still is a really great drummer. You might have seen him on tour or doing his thing. And I remember going to see a gig of his. And this is somebody that I knew at sixth form. And I recognised something in him. And I think he recognised it in me as well. This ambition, this sense of expansion, that we weren't going to just be in this town, just doing the things that were expected. And I think when you have that, you can see it in other people. And he clocked it in me very early on. And likewise, I saw it in him, and I felt very protective of that, not only talent, because he was incredibly talented, but I felt protective of that ambition as well. Because I know at that early age, you have all the fire and the energy, and they're like, yes, let's do this, let's go for it. but also you have a lot of noise around you, like, oh, you're too young, or you're not quite ready, or you'll get there one day. You have to come up against a lot of obstacles. Many years ago, when we were in our early 20s, I saw him at a gig at Shepherd's Bush, and we had a big group of us, were having a drink, and he was a little bit disheartened, I would say, a little bit playing small. And he was going, yeah, I'll just do this for a couple of years. If it doesn't work out, it will, he was in that headspace, as we've all been. And I knew that was not his truth. And maybe this is the acting, or maybe this is me being too much of like a pageant mum character. And I also had a lot of wine. I'd had a lot of wine, let's just say that. And at that time of early 20s of, not much dinner, but might have some chips later and a lot of wine and probably a lot of fags. That's quite the combination. And I stopped and I clocked him when he was saying that. And I said, what? And, I was probably a bit gobby and sassy then, but I said, no. And he looked at me like, what, whoa, where's this conversation? And I went for it. I was like, you're too talented just to be passive about your career. I can't hear you say that. And yes, of course, if you want to do something else, absolutely. But please don't say that this doesn't matter to you. Please don't say that you're indifferent to this. And he was kind of, because we knew each other well, he's kind of looking at me and smiling. But he did say later on down the line that he did think about that conversation. And I think so often, with everything being so easily accessible, where we can watch something online from the comfort of our own home, we can do stuff in bed, we can listen to it, we can switch off from it. It's so easy to be in that passive state. It's so easy just to be slightly indifferent to things. But I know that if you've got big dreams, if you're like, oh gosh, I need to do this. Actually, the fact that other people on the internet are doing this, it's starting to anger me now. Or sometimes people will come to me and they'll say, I'm actually really bored of my own stories now. My old stories that hold me back, that get in my way. I'm bored. I need to, like, enough. And that passion and that emotion is where people make decisions from. And so I want you to notice, if you are observing, if you're taking in content from that passive state of kind of nodding and smiling and going, yeah, that's really interesting and thought-provoking, I want you to notice what you need to do in order to go, do you know what? I'm going to do something about that today. I need to send that email. I need to carve out that time to put this in my diary. I need to actually do this. Why have I been talking about it for the last 5 years? I need to make some moves. So I want you to think about this in terms of your brand, in terms of your personal brand online. Are you welcoming people just to be passive? Just to create content that people go, yeah, that was kind of cool. And the more I realize where I want to go and who I want to be, I don't want people just to go, that was fairly interesting. I want people to go, that was the moment where I actually did something. That was the moment where I started a Monday and actually made some progress. That I didn't get caught in my head of like, oh, it's Monday, I'm tired. Oh, I don't really like Mondays, in that minutiae. So I hope that's been useful. I can hear these chuffing builders about to start their work, so I'm going to bring it to a close. As always, I would love to know what you think. And one thing that you can do for me today, if you want to even just tick off that I am not a passive person, is to leave me a review on iTunes. I would greatly appreciate that. A 5-star review, that would be lovely. Thank you so much. And just share this podcast with somebody that you know, somebody that needs a bit of motivation or information or education. Oh my God, I'm a lyricist and I don't even know it. No, you know what I'm saying. I would love that. Please share the love. Also, I'm going to be sharing some interesting stats with you over the next couple of weeks, because it might change the way that you think about how long you need and all of that good stuff. So that is coming very soon. And as always, if you missed part 1 and part 2 of this website internet series, do go back and follow along. For now, I will say thank you so much for spending some time with me, sending lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.